not sure if you guys can hear it in the background, but I got some liquid drum and bass going on. So, but in any event, figured I'd come on here live, guys. What's going on, everyone? Mute that. That way I can look at everyone's comments and stuff like that. Actually, I wonder if it'd be easier to do it on my phone. I just don't want to get any kind of like, there we go. Yeah, I might do it like that, where I just have it on my phone instead. Anyways, what's going on, everyone? How are y'all doing? Forgive me, this is like all super professional and shit. But anyways, what's going on, everyone? How are you all doing, my beautiful brothers and sisters? This is Astro Fenixx flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. I just thought I would hop on here and do this Monday night musing, which I'm thinking this is probably going to be a normal thing now. These Monday night live videos where essentially I guess it'll act as sort of my weekly video. I'll talk about transits, I'll talk about the current energies, and whatever else I feel like I need to channel. I did make a video earlier this morning, early this morning. Today's been a very interesting day. It really has been. It's been a day that I just kind of wasn't expecting. I was productive, but then I had like this moment where Pisces season kicked off hard for me. Like I spent the first several hours of Pisces season sleeping. And I thought that's so freaking applicable. I think honestly a part of it is my Pisces moon is just so happy that Chiron has shifted into Aries. And even though just that little bit of a shift, my Pisces moon just had to breathe like a sigh of relief by having me go to sleep. Like on the real. Let's see what we got here. What's up, Sunshine Divine? How are you doing? Infinite blessings to you. Thank you for joining. So we have started Pisces season, guys. The sun has shifted into Pisces. It was around 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that was right around the time that I freaking went to sleep. Like, it was crazy. I was not expecting to go to sleep so freaking early. But I'm awake now. That's just because I got a pretty early morning. I woke up like around like 5 something in the morning. A little bit. I woke up before 6, and there was a video last night that I was trying to watch, and I kept on sleep on it. So this morning I woke up and finally watched all of it. It was very, very powerful. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to post a link to the video in the description below because I really feel like it's super freaking applicable for Pisces season especially, but just for life in general. And I think everyone needs to hear this because I think it's a very, very powerful message. I was on Reddit, and I was on the subreddit Ask Reddit, right, last night. And it was about what is a TED Talk that has changed your life. And like one of the first ones was, I want to say her name's Brene Brown, was her talk on vulnerability. And of course, she's had so many other talks as well. And that talk on vulnerability really helped to shift my perspective. And it really kind of snapped me out of this sort of daze I was in. That's why I made the video earlier this morning where I was talking about how I had initially thought that I was going to take a step back, from my channel, and really that was just in reference to the moon transit videos and stuff, and I didn't know if I was going to be making as much content over the next 30 days or so. Yeah, that original intention is kind of out the window now because I'm realizing that with these energies that are going on right now, I would be doing such a disservice to myself and to you guys if I wasn't speaking on this. And I think there are beings and entities out there that were gambling on me being silenced, or gambling on me being more quiet and not really talking more about what's going on here. And I realized that I can't fucking do that. And I realized that there's so much more to me, and I have so much more strength than I like to give myself credit for. Like, I mean, I've been through my fair amount of stuff. I've been open about my anxiety. I've been open about my panic attacks. I've even told you guys that I've dealt with night terrors my entire life, and it's weird how they've kind of progressed and have evolved and stuff. The other night I had a night terror when I didn't even scream, which was interesting. I just jumped. But it was different than jumping before, because I jumped in my sleep, but this one I knew was supposed to be a night terror while I was supposed to scream, but I didn't. It was a silenced night terror. It was very weird. And like I wasn't I think I was really more shocked that I didn't scream. I was like, huh, that was weird. I ended up going right back to sleep. But in any event, this is such a powerful shifting time. And I feel like the reason why I wanted to take a step back is because I was really over identifying with a lot of the wounds that I carried, the trauma. I was over identifying with really this whole Chiron being in Pisces the past 8 to 10 years. Over identifying with a lot of that stuff, over identifying with the situations, the circumstances, and even found myself kind of projecting who was the bad guy, who did this, who did that to me. And I'm nuanced. I know I did a lot of it to myself, but I noticed that like I would project it onto my family, I would project it onto my partner, I would project it onto work, and I think Chiron and Aries is going to also it's going to give us more of a sense of personal responsibility. And the reason why I say that is because it's shifting from the collective energy in Pisces to the individual energy in Aries. So when it comes to our own healing, this is really going to be all up on the individual. Whereas before with Chiron and Pisces, this is where you've seen, of course, a big rise in spiritual retreats, people getting together, and these things are going to continue. The spiritual retreats, people getting together, really this group healing aspect. But now that Chiron has gone into Aries and it will remain here for the next 8 years, and we're not going to get Chiron Pisces for at least another 40 plus years, a lot of that healing, the responsibility of such, while it was always on the individual, is now going to be hyper focused on the individual's efforts and actions. Aries is initiation fires, that first sign of the zodiac, so it is in many ways is action. It's the I am. A lot of that healing energy is now going to be focused on the individual's efforts and not so much the collective efforts. So that is going to be interesting, and that's why I feel like I would be doing a disservice to people, because I kind of wanted to put out videos about, I'm probably going to put out a video tomorrow about Chiron and Aries a little bit more in depth, or I'll probably talk about it tonight. But yeah, I had a self-check about the same today. Yeah, today was an interesting day. I think part of me going to sleep in the mid-afternoon, early evening was part of that. I think it was part of like I needed to kind of recover and take care of myself. The other thing, we had this full moon that's coming up. So this is certainly a full moon where, since the sun's going to be in Pisces and moon's going to be in Virgo, this is definitely going to be, especially since it's right here at the beginning, this is definitely going to be a very powerful full moon for any type of ceremonial and ritual work. Now, for me, I'm probably going to do something tonight, I guess. But since it's also Virgo energy, I'm probably going to get up in the morning and clean a lot, because I need to kind of like clean up my space here. I may even start to pack away stuff, because we're actually going to be moving in about 3 weeks or so. So this is actually kind of like, it's actually interesting how we are literally, me and my fiance, we're moving to another apartment in Pisces season, because Pisces season is in many ways is about endings. It's about the culmination. And now it's like we're moving from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 2-bedroom apartment. And it's like, you know, we're going to have more space than we've ever had before, more space to spread out into. So this is going to be a very interesting thing for us, and I think it's really synchronized well with these energies. But also, let me tell you about my day, because my day was so weird, and it was definitely an edge of Aquarius, cusp of, it was definitely an Aquarius Pisces cusp day. It was such an interesting day. Cheers. One thing I also want to put out there before I get to that. Mercury is about to go into shadow, right? It'll go into shadow tomorrow, actually. Pretty sure Mercury is going to conjunct it's going to conjunct Neptune, which it conjuncted Neptune today, and then it'll go into shadow. I just want to put out a warning and sort of a caution out there to, especially if you have, I would say if you have heavy mercurial energy, if you are a Virgo or if you are a Gemini, or even if you have, I would say, your moon and even if you have your Mercury in a mutable sign, really just anybody, this next 30 to 40 days while Mercury's in shadow, and then it's going to retrograde and then come back forward. I haven't mapped out exactly how long it's going to be. Mercury retrogrades always last 3 weeks. So this is going to be a time where we really want to monitor the substances that we put in our body, and particularly alcohol. Now, I admittedly have been indulging a little bit more than I should, and it's been showing. It's been showing. Like I noticed it. Other people might not notice it because I kind of hide it well, but I can't hide it from myself, right? So I am personally taking a vow of no alcohol while Mercury is in shadow and is retrograding, and probably going forward. I might have one celebratory drink when it goes forward, but I'm going to just come off of alcohol because this Mercury in Pisces is going to be really, it's going to be tough. And I haven't been wanting to accept that this Mercury retrograde is going to be tough, but you want to make it as easy as possible. And the reason why I say you probably want to avoid alcohol is because this is that mutable water energy, right? This is a mutable liquid. It actually changes your perception and it changes your consciousness. In many ways, it is a depressant. There are few cases where it actually can raise your vibration. There are a few cases where it actually can raise your vibration. But with this Mercury retrograde, it's going to come on top of where Chiron was in Pisces. It's already conjuncted Neptune, right? It's going to come to the last degree of the zodiac. And not only that, it's also known that a lot of the activity in our gut affects the way that we think, and the mente, the mind. This is all ruled by Mercury. So we have to understand that these substances that we take in, alcohol or spirits, right? If we indulge heavily this month, and people are going to, I guarantee that, but I just want to put out the caution, the warning that you probably don't want to drink. You want to drink very minimally at the very least. Preferably cut it all out, just because you want to be as clear as possible going into this Mercury retrograde, because it's still going to be crazy. Even if you don't drink, even if you don't smoke, even if you don't do anything that really alters the way that you think and shit. Meditation, of course, would be very positive, but I'm just saying that, especially when it comes to alcohol, with this upcoming Mercury retrograde, and like I said, it's going into shadow. Now, if you want, you could probably drink up until the actual retrograde moment. I'm going to do it the entire shadow zone, right? Now, of course, this stuff is still going to be in my body, and I'm going to have to detox it during the shadow. I'm going to deal with that, and this is sort of like my last hurrah tonight, right? But I'm having to do this major detox. I've already had ridiculously terrible experience with weed several weeks ago. And I think honestly, me having to release that was a bit depressing, like for me, because it was actually something that really helped me for such a long time. And alcohol has even helped me from time to time. But I'm also recognizing and realizing, especially with these astrological transits, Mercury at the end of the fact that Mercury is retrograding at 29 degrees of Pisces, this is the last, I don't know how to really else say it. This is not a Mercury retrograde that you want to fuck with. So if you can mitigate any type of quote unquote negatively perceived pitfall with this Mercury retrograde, I would recommend not drinking. I would recommend not drinking. At least when Mercury goes retrograde officially on March 6th or 7th, except I'm personally doing it while Mercury's in its shadow, and it goes into shadow tomorrow. So here's my last hurrah tonight. You know, that's not just what I'm doing, you know. Let's see who else is on. What's up, Spells Inc? How are you doing? Man, me too. After my birthday, 3-4. Yeah, absolutely. Go out. Do it for your birthday. The thing is that Mercury is going to actually go retrograde on the 6th or 7th, so that gives you a little bit of time. And since you're a Pisces, Pisces are actually able to alchemize alcohol better than most people. That's not to say that there aren't alcoholics who are Pisces and stuff like that. But Pisces do have a better time at alchemizing and transmuting that energy than most people. I only am decent at it because I'm a Pisces moon. I'm only decent at it because I'm a Pisces moon. But like I said, I'm going to do my best to try and mitigate the effects of this. Not mitigate them, because the Mercury retrograde is still going to hit me. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as when Chiron went over my moon. I think it might be a reminder of it. But I know that if I engage in these substances, and if I indulge in these substances, that I'm going to have a really rough time. So that's why I'm not going to. When is the retrograde? I lost my apartment during the last one in December. Oh, shit, Spellsing. I want to say it's March 6th or March 7th. I'll screen share eventually so I can show you. It's like the landlord didn't know how to communicate. That's a lot of times stuff like that can happen. How I drink the tears of my enemies, right? When does Pisces season start? Pisces season has already started, actually. Pisces season started, like I said, around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And welcome. I hope I say your name right. Brichanice Terrell. I am totally sorry if I mispronounced that. I am so sorry if I did. My mom's a Pisces sun that doesn't believe in anything spiritual. You know what's the interesting thing about Pisces suns that aren't quote-unquote spiritual? Their path is spiritual in and of itself. We have to realize that life itself is spiritual. So even someone who goes down the path of atheism, that's actually a spiritual in and of itself. It's another way at coming into this divine knowledge. So even though your mom isn't quote-unquote spiritual, and just because Pisces is the sign of spirituality and imagination, you got to remember Pisces has qualities of all the other signs leading up to it. So she can be tapping more into her Aries energy. She could be tapping more into her Gemini energy. Not saying that these signs aren't spiritual, whatever. She could be tapping more into her Virgo energy, her opposite sign, right? What's reality? What's real? What's the facts? What you can see, you know. And plus, you know, you never know. There could be other energies that she has. Maybe she is a Virgo moon, or maybe she has a lot of like Virgo energy or a lot of earthy energy. She could be a Capricorn, but ironically, Capricorn is a very spiritual sign too, because Capricorn, it's the sea goat. So it's this area between the water and the land. It's a very spiritual sign, Capricorn. That's why I come to know. Even though it's an earth sign, it's a very spiritual sign, because you gotta think, to have the tenacity and I'm going to go ahead and say the testicular and ovarian fortitude. I like that. To have the testicular and ovarian fortitude to climb a mountain when a lot of people are yelling you and telling you that you can't make it, you can't climb that mountain, and then you climb the mountain and you get to the top, that's a very spiritual thing to do, because it requires this undying belief in yourself that you can make it through no matter what. And that requires testicular and ovarian fortitude. Like, for real. She's been sick all of her life, various diseases. So I'm trying to teach her how to think positively and heal herself. That's really positive self-spelling that you obviously, you know, you want to help her. And I already love in her direction. You know, it is difficult when you have to deal with diseases. And what I've noticed, what I've observed, and I'm just very grateful that I haven't had to deal with too much of all. I'm really honestly been pretty much very healthy my whole life, even though I haven't necessarily had the greatest dietary habits my whole life, stuff like that. I've been blessed with very, very good health. I'm a very hardy individual. But I even had this whole belief that I adopted that actually worked for an amount of time. It worked, but it started to not work as much. That I never get sick. I would say that I never get sick, and I pretty much never got sick. I really didn't. Very occasionally, like very rarely, very seldomly. But then, you know, started to notice that my body began to catch up to me. And that's when I had to make some changes and shit, right? So what I've observed with people who are sick, who are habitually sick, it's either they really take what life has given them and they have this very positive outlook and they're very inspirational, they're very motivational, or they kind of go the other direction where they're not as appreciative. And it's like, you know, it's like this whole woe is me thing. And, you know, there are two ways of approaching the same thing. So I can never really know and understand, like I can understand, but I can never really understand, you know, someone who goes through something like that. All I can do would be pretty much what you're doing, Spellseek, and to just remind her of positivity and remind her that she has another day. Like every other day you wake up, it's just like one of those things where gratitude is so important. It's like, I'm alive today. I have an opportunity. I have a chance to do something. And yeah, you don't have to be the most productive. This is one of my things I have to teach myself is like, I feel like if I'm not productive enough, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, damn, man, I didn't do much. That was even kind of what happened when I woke up from my nap. But then I was like, you know what? Who the fuck cares, man? I mean, I know I kind of care, but I felt like I had a good day. Damn, I'm supposed to tell you guys about my day, and I still haven't done that. I've been like all off base and shit like that. That's kind of interesting. So your mom is a Pisces and your dad is a Sag. So their energies square each other. But here's the thing, though. Pisces and Sagittarius do rule beliefs. So those beliefs don't necessarily have to be positive. They don't necessarily have to be uplifting. They don't necessarily have to be embracing this quality of joy and fulfillment. You can have a belief that everyone sucks and everyone's out to get me. And believe me, a Pisces will be able to influence you with that, really just basically just by being there. A Sagittarius will tell you, wait, what do you mean you don't believe that everyone sucks and everyone's out to get you? How dare you not believe that? The Sagittarius can do that, and they can be very, very fucking convincing. So, like, that's just one of those things where we have to realize that, you know, beliefs are very powerful, but they also can be self-limiting. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's addressing those self-limiting beliefs that, you know, is part of the spiritual work. And also having the courage to update our beliefs when they no longer work. When they no longer work as efficiently as they do. Because all beliefs serve us, whether we perceive them as positive or negative, all beliefs serve us to some capacity. But including those self-limiting beliefs. But it does get to a point where we have to be nuanced enough and honest enough with ourselves to when we need to update these fucking beliefs and shit. But Anyways, guys, I'll catch up on the comments in a second, but let me tell you about my day because my day was weird, all right? My day was weird. Okay, all right. Right now, I'm drinking on Gemini Moment, Strongbow, and dude, they have pineapple Captain Morgan's rum. I was like, what? That was dangerous. I didn't know they had that stuff a little bit left. I was like, are you serious? I love pineapple too. And I like rum, so. But anyways, I'm not never going to drink again, by the way. But I'm just going to definitely do this cleanse. Anyways, to my day. So I started off, we're watching that video about vulnerability. Really began to like work these different cogs within my mind and my heart. I'm just like, wow, this is very powerful. I gotta get up and make a video about this. That's what I did. I got up, I made a video about it, and then after I made the video, I hit my first challenge right after I filmed this video. I was pissed, but I didn't really. I didn't let it escalate. I just took a chance, and honestly, it worked out. So what I did is I just recorded my voice, and then when I went back to replay it so I can just kind of listen to the quality of it, I couldn't hear the sound. It was playing, and I couldn't hear what I was saying. Like the little volume meter was going up, like it was detecting that I was saying things, but I couldn't hear my word. I couldn't hear my voice, and I was like, oh God, they're trying to silence me. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, they're trying to silence me. So I was like, fuck, what do I do? I just recorded this 30+ minute video and I can't even hear what I'm saying. How am I gonna upload this and it's quiet? No one's gonna hear my words. I just went in on this channel, man. I went in on this channel, on this video, on this message. I was like, fuck. Well, let me open it up, not in this program, but in another program, just to see if it works. Actually, I converted the file and then I uploaded it, and I listened to it on like a regular video player, and it worked. And I was like, I was so grateful that it worked. And I literally, like, the title of the project pod was "They Tried." That's what I did. It's like, they tried to silence me, but it didn't work. I don't know what's up with that program and shit, but it worked. Uploaded to YouTube. We were gravy, right? So I got the video out. After that, what did I do after that? Kind of searched around the internet a little bit. I made a post on my Instagram with some oracle cards that I have. And then I used those oracle cards to write a poem. All right, I used the oracle cards to write a poem, and I'll recite that poem at the end of this video or something like that. And that was really cool. I liked the way that it came together, actually, the poem. And then I did some drawing. I actually had this online drawing class that I purchased last year, like sometime in like the fall or whatever like that, and I watched some of the modules, like the beginning parts of it, but I didn't really get into it. And so I finally had my first assignment. Now, I'm someone who is drawn pretty much most of their life, but off and on. I never really was able to develop the consistency. And it's something I've always wanted to be good at because I've always wanted to create my own comics and books, and I wanted to do the drawing and the writing. Or at the very least, draw like a pretty decent sketch of a character and then give it to a professional and then they can clean it up for me at the very least. But I want to learn the skill too. I want to learn how to draw. So I sat down and I drew a character and it looks like shit. In fact, I'm going to show you guys right now. Like, it straight looks like shit. But I don't give a shit because this is just what I'm going to do. This is part of the process. And sometimes you got to go through the yeah, so here's my character. It's a random character. And as you can see, like, honestly, at the start, he didn't have a nose. And he didn't have ears. I forgot those. And then he has a mitt on his hand, which is actually meant to be like a frog mitt. Now, what I did with this is that I was trying to draw a hand, and what my intention was is that I wanted to have him hold his hands open and have, like, energy rolling around in his hand. But I could not for the life of me figure out how to draw this hand. And I'm like, damn it, this is going to be one of my challenges. I was like, fuck. And I was getting frustrated. So what I did is I gave him an oven mitt instead. So he has like this V-neck and these kind of baggy-ish pants, and then he has this mitt on his hand. And I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. I signed it. Boom. This is my sketch of my character. At the end of the class, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to redraw this character and compare notes. So I'm excited, mitt and all. I'm excited to draw this character again at the end of the class. So I drew the character. Thank you, Spellzig. I think it's a beautiful drawing as well. So I drew that, and then what else did I do? After I drew that, that's when I went back to bed, and you know my partner was up and stuff, and we just kind of chilled and talked, whatever. But she wanted to go to Payless. Payless shoes, they're going out of business, right? So I'm like, cool. I've been wanting some new shoes anyways. And so we decided to go to Payless. And we got 11 pairs of shoes. She got 6. I got, she got 7 pairs of shoes for herself, 1 for her mom, and then I got 3 pairs of shoes. And I was going to go back, and I probably should have, but I was going to go back and get shoes for my niece, but I didn't do that. But in any event, I might go back like tomorrow or something like that and get shoes. But in any event, we got 11 pairs of shoes plus some type of like spray for the shoes to keep them refreshed for under $24 because they're going out of business. Now, that was a huge blessing, and the chick was pretty much just ringing the shoes up for like next to nothing. Because, you know, the store's going out of business. She's losing her job, so why does she care? Turns out she wasn't supposed to do that. Turns out the shoes were only supposed to be like 20 to 25% off max. So she actually got fired. I don't know if she really cares, but considering what she had to go through, I'm sure, leading up to all this, they're not going to give her a severance package either. She was just probably thinking, I'm trying to get rid of these shoes as fast as possible, and that's my job, right? So we got 11 pairs of shoes for under $24, $25. I got 3 new pairs of shoes. I got like some running shoes, and then I got 2 other shoes, like just kind of like nice shoes for just like, you know, everyday stuff. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. And it's kind of perfect because we're going into Pisces season. Pisces rules the feet. I got 3 new shoes. I'm like, hell yeah, this is dope. My partner, she got 7 pairs of new shoes. And I'm like, damn, like this is great. Like this is awesome, right? But apparently she wasn't supposed to do that. She wasn't supposed to give us the shoes for that amount. I think each one of my shoes was like $2 when they were supposed to be like, we were realistically supposed to come out of there spending definitely more than $100, probably more. But we got out of there for like a huge discount. And poor girl got fired over it, but I don't think she really cared. She does care. I'm sorry, and I'm already loving her direction that she gets a job that's more fitting of her generous nature, you know. But that happened. You know, came back. I don't know, went grocery shopping, came back, ate, and then I began to organize my Pokemon cards. Now I have 2 giant binders of cards, right? 2 giant binders of cards, and I've been accumulating more and more too, Pokemon cards. And I already had the thought. I was like, I need to reorganize these because I kind of organized them in a way, but I wanted to reorganize them. And I wanted to reorganize it from, this is a Virgo. This is like a huge Virgo thing. I wanted to organize them in order of when they come in the Pokédex. So starting from like the Kanto, like the original 151, and then going in order all the way through to where it is right now, Generation 7. And I began to do that. And I noticed myself having thoughts of like, why are you doing this? This is crazy. But I was also having fun at the same time. But it's like I had to check over every single card to make sure I wasn't missing anyone and stuff like that. And I did. One time I missed a Charizard, and I had already put many cards in there. I was like, I had to go all the way back. I had to redo everything just to get this one Charizard card in there. And yeah, so I'm nowhere near done. I'll even show you guys. Hold on, I'll be right back. So guys, this doesn't include all of the Generation 1 Pokemon, the generation that most people remember. I still have some of them are in the binder and the new binder, and they're all sorted out and stuff like that. But after the round that I did of putting those cards in, because I was going like a few Pokemon at a time and taking them out of the old binder and putting them into the new binder, I was like, you know what? Let me just take out every single Generation 1 Pokemon card and just like put them onto the side, and then I can go through and sort them. This is what I got, guys. This is all of my Generation 1 Pokemon cards. And I gotta sort through this. This is not even a quarter of the cards that I had. I still got Charizard. Now, I do have that Charizard card was like kind of like a newer Charizard card. I do have a reprint of the original card as well, like a holo, which is one of my prized possessions. I really do. Because what they did is that they took like the original cards, like the original artwork, and they pretty much redid them. They just made like a new a couple years ago. They made a pack called Evolutions, and it was really just the original cards, and they just kind of came out with it like a new set for them. But like all the original artworks and everything like that. But look at this stack of cards, and I gotta sort through this shit. And I was like, let me just get all of them out, and this is what I gotta go through. I predict your favorite Pokemon is Moltres. No, actually, it's interesting enough. I do have a Moltres card in here, and my favorite actually out of the 3 birds is Articuno. Ironically, right? My favorite Pokemon is actually Scyther. So, yeah, I love Scyther. And I hated Scizor for a long time, but Scyther's kind of grown on me. But my favorite Pokemon is actually Scyther. I just thought that Scyther was badass. He has scythes. He has swords for hands. That's so fucking cool. Look at this fucking stack, though, man. Look at this fucking stack. I gotta sort through this bullshit. Anyways, let me put this up. In any event, so I actually thought about creating a new channel, just as like a sort of like a personal vlog, because in this channel I'll talk about astrology, tarot, the esoteric arts. But I kind of want to create a channel where I talk about all the other things I do. My writing, Pokemon, stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool to set up my tripod and like I know there's like a better way to stream video games, but it'd be kind of cool if I could stream video games through like this, whatever like that, like have it like in front of my TV and stream video games. That would be fucking cool. And just kind of show you like the other areas of me, the other stuff that I like outside of astrology and tarot and the esoteric arts. But anyways, yeah, so I was sorting through those cards. Deontay went to work, and then I didn't really do much after that. I actually was laying in bed, and then I fell asleep. And I woke up once, went back to sleep, woke up again, and it was dark outside. And that's been my day. And then I was like, oh, shit. I feel kind of bad because I thought I was going to be a little bit more productive today. But now I think about it, I made that video in the morning. I wrote some poetry. I made several posts on my social media accounts. Got some nice shoes. I'm starting to readjust these cards. It's been a good day. It's been a good day. And now I'm talking to you all and having a good time. Let's see. Let me look at here. Let's see. Yes, Laura, I know it's awesome that we're able to get so many pairs. Let's see. The new cards from the new Detective Pikachu movie. I know, I'm excited. I saw them. I'm excited. What I'm really happy is that Mr. Mime is not creepy. Like they capture this movie is great because if there was a Pokemon world, which there is, that's how I want Pokemon to look. I want it to be like that. The Pokemon looks so good. I'm so excited, and I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna go watch that movie in theaters. Like, really, I might not watch an opening night, but I'm gonna watch that movie in theaters. Best believe. The minus Crobat, dude. I have a really cool Crobat card that it was like it's an older card. It's like Crobat level X, and it's like a hollow card. Crobat is so freaking cool. Crobat's huge. If you look at Crobat, I mean, it's probably like the size. It's pretty powerful as shit. The grass owl final evolution is sick too. Yes, the Decidueye. I love it. I love that you know some of the new Pokemon. It's great. The Decidueye is great. I love all of the starters in that generation. When the recent generation came out, I was really into Rowlet because he had a bow tie, and I was like, dude, a grass starter that's an owl that has a bow tie. Are you fucking kidding me? That's fucking adorable. So I originally thought I was going to start with Rowlet, and then, like I always do, I defaulted to the water Pokemon. But I love Primarina. I think Primarina is awesome. I think it's magical, it's beautiful, and it's honestly, competitively, the best one out of it. But here we go. Incineroar has grown on me. The tiger, the fighting, wrestling tiger Pokemon has grown on me so freaking much. In fact, I've kind of come into this realization about the tiger lately, which I'm going to talk about that in a later video, and how important the tiger actually has been for me. Really, my whole life, I didn't even realize it. And because I was always a cheetah guy when it came to like the big cats, and the cheetah is still a huge influence for me. But the tiger, I realized it's actually of like some deep significance importance to me. But anyways, I digress. So just keep the vlogs on this channel. We support you, not just your astrology. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. This energy is crazy, so much so I indicate what to do or expect. All I can do is focus on my focus. That is so true. You gotta understand with Pisces energy, especially, Neptune's in Pisces, Mercury is here, now the sun is here, so we have the stellium. Chiron just left, so it does take a bit of the edge off, but this is a season where you really, if you're trying to perfect things and control the situation too much, you're gonna have a bad time. This isn't Capricorn season, and even when it was Capricorn season, we had Pluto there, so there wasn't much you can do there. This isn't Virgo season, so this is Pisces season with Neptune and Mercury here. Mercury doesn't like to. Mercury rather be in Virgo. Mercury's debilitated in Pisces. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have its perks. This is a time where our thoughts can take us to the greatest places. Our imaginations are so expansive right now, but it's either you can go to the greatest joys and feel that jubilation and fulfillment, or you can think yourself into the deepest pits of hell and everything in between. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, everything is up in the air right now. It's like, it's really like, so I'm seeing someone juggling, and suddenly the balls are just floating in midair, like they just stopped. And he's like, I'm supposed to be juggling. I'm supposed to be doing this juggling act, but the balls are just like frozen in the midair. They're not even frozen. They're like, they stopped and they're like moving slowly, but they're not falling into his hands so he can juggle them. And it's like the moment that Pisces season ends, that's when the balls drop, Oh gosh, that sounded so weird. That's when the balls drop, and then he has to juggle them. Oh shit. Maybe he's not juggling balls. Maybe it's some fruit. I don't know. That's too funny. Can you expand on the portal or energy you spoke of that was magical? Are you speaking what portal? So Sunshine, what portal? Hold on, let's see. Let me think. And how will Mercury, Pisces, and Virgo supermoon impact us? Yes, we'll talk about that. I'm probably going to make a video tomorrow morning about the Virgo super full moon more in depth. But in a nutshell, this Virgo full moon is at 0 degrees. This is going to be the 4th full moon in a row that we've had at 0 degrees. Not only that, but this Virgo full moon is the last full moon of the astrological new year, because the next full moon that we get will occur in Libra, and that's when the sun is going to return to Aries. And Aries is the first sign of the Western astrological zodiac, the esoteric new year. So this Virgo full moon is all about spring cleaning. It's actually heralding spring cleaning. You've heard spring cleaning, where you clean out things, you get rid of things that you don't need, you clean up everything, you let out the old year, you let in the new year, whatever like that. So it's kind of perfect how we get this Virgo full moon, which is the last full moon of the astrological year, occurs during Pisces season, and spring is heralded by Aries season, right? So this full moon is actually a precursor to the spring cleaning. And throughout Pisces season, especially this one, since this one is occurring at 0 degrees, this is going to be very, very important, because we're getting a full 30 days of going over what has happened over the past year, astrologically, what has gone over the past year, what we have learned, how we have grown, challenges that we've had, and how to move forward. And since Virgo energy is very much so kind of about this, organizing thing, it's going to be an opportunity, since it's at 0 degrees, and 0 is ruled by Scorpio, mind you. It's going to be very, very, very deep. So a lot of this organization that we're going to be doing, a lot of the spring cleaning that we're going to be doing, is going to be very, very deep within our spirit and souls. Very, very deep. So a lot of the proliferation of this spring cleaning and how it erupts out into our physical reality and into the situations and circumstances and our actions that we take, it's going to come across subtly at first. But by the time that the new moon in Pisces comes, which will be at 15 degrees, conjunct Neptune, that's when we're really going to begin to know. That's really going to kind of herald this beginning. It's like, all right, we're coming into the new year. The new year is right around the corner. It's in 2 weeks. This is going to be, like I said, like the sun, and when the sun and moon meet up at 15 degrees in Pisces, right? Coming into the new year, we're about to kick off. All right, what do I want to establish? What do I want to do different this year? What do I want to move forward with? What do I like? You've already going to be letting go of what doesn't, what you don't need. In my case, one of the things is alcohol, right? So, but it's this Virgo full moon is going to be very, very powerful. And of course, you want to look at where it lands in your house. For example, for me, it's landing in my 9th house. Now, my 10th house cusp is 8 degrees of Virgo, right? So that's where my midhaven is. But this is actually falling into my 9th house. So I'm having to do a massive spring cleaning on my belief structure, right? On my belief structure. And also realizing that a lot of the way that I carry myself as far as like health-wise does affect my beliefs. So I'm having to work on my health. I'm not going to be drinking. I'm going to start exercising, working out more, but also working on my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, meditating more, taking time to, to implement gratitude in my daily life, to do these sort of things. I am a part of I'm part of an online community that deals with anxiety and stuff like that, and I'm going to actually become more invested in that as well. So these are the sort of things that are going to come up with this Virgo full moon, because full moons are culminations. They're endings, but they're also beginnings. Anytime you have an ending, you also have a beginning. So it's this culmination, and this light, we're being lit up. And not only that, but you have to look at this astronomically. This is going to be the largest and brightest full moon of the year. And it's amazing how it happens during Pisces season, right? The largest and brightest full moon of the year, the super moon. I think they call it the cold moon, something like that. Anyways, the super moon is going to be bright. So this is literally like, this is the brightest moon of the year, which means that we're going to be revealed to everything that we have gone through over the past year since the sun went into Aries last year in March. We're going to be reviewing all of that. And it's going to come up for everybody individually. It's going to come up for everyone in their particular way. But it's going to rise and bubble to the surface. That full moon, a lot of the things that you have hidden in the deep. This is 0 degrees Scorpio. So you might have pushed these things into the deep. This full moon is going to bring it all the way up, and it's going to come out of the ocean, and it's like, ah, look at this. This is where you are right now. It's not bad or good. I mean, it's not good or bad. You know, that's just a perception. But about the vibration, you know, it's like, you know, is it high vibrational, is it low vibrational? It's kind of like a baseline. It's about raising our baseline frequency, I feel. Let's see. Astro Fenixx dropping bosses 2019, right? I actually need to learn how to juggle anyways. Yeah, routines, definitely changing routines. I cleaned my house today. Very good, Sig. I mean, that's definitely in line with what's happening. Spring cleaning, yep, this is a time for spring cleaning. Prayers of gratitude can be sent to me telepathically with gratitude. Absolutely. But yeah, so that's the, and really I would say that this whole week is a bit of this portal sunshine that we're about to go through. So it's this really big portal. But that's kind of Virgo full moon in a nutshell. But I wanted to talk still about this Chiron in Aries, because Chiron in Aries is very fucking important. Now it's at 0 degrees of Aries. And it's very, very fucking important because, you know, it was interesting, right? I recently got into an internet argument, right? I got into an internet argument. Oh God. And it wasn't even related to me. I wasn't personally attacked, but somebody in my extended family, which is actually my fiance's family, which is actually her stepfather's family. So not much relation. I've met a couple of people on his side of the family, and they're really cool. You know, they're really nice. A bit more conservative than I am, you know, but we're all human. We're all people. So I really, when it comes to especially politics, I've actually have adopted this idea that I am politically homeless. I'm neither conservative nor liberal. I'm just homeless, like politically. That doesn't mean that I don't have my views. I'm just not going to identify or especially over-identify with a particular stance. But anyways, I saw that the stepfather of my fiance, his son, his oldest son, excuse me, had posted something on Facebook. It was that video about the trans woman in the GameStop that was like really upset that people were calling her a him. And the way that I see this video is that, all right, I'm not against trans people at all. Like, I support people, but I don't support rudeness. And the person in that video was getting upset, was very rude and mean to not only the workers there, but everyone around them. It made them super uncomfortable. Was very rude and was just being a nasty human being. I don't care if you're, see, that's the thing. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're marginalized. If you're being a dick and a bitch to other people, like, you need to be called out. And I'm going to stand my ground on that. You know, I understand that certain people, groups of people have been marginalized, and I'm honest, I'm black. So of course I have the history of being marginalized in my DNA, but I don't care about that. I do care, but I don't care to the point where it's like, if you do something that's out of line and rude, then I'm not going to call you out on it. So in any event, he posted something about it, and then apparently the stepfather of my fiance's, you know, his son, his middle son, got involved, and I was reading the comments between the eldest son, the stepfather, and the middle son, and, you know, the oldest son's wife, and they were really, it was the middle son that was being very, very nasty. He's gay, but he's being very, very nasty and stuff. And now, bear in mind, I don't know the family dynamics. I'm not trying to get involved, but the way he was speaking to his father, you know, the stepdad, was just so out of line, I felt. And I know it probably was not my place to get involved, but he was speaking to him so nastily. and so is without respect. And I'm sitting here like, look, I don't know the situation, obviously, in my head. You know, I don't know the situation, but the way that you're speaking to him is just not right. And I actually felt called to call him out. Now, I wasn't a dick about it, but I did call him out on his bullshit, the middle son. And of course, you know, he kind of started coming at me. He's like, oh, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. But I'm like, no, I know that, but I'm going to hold you accountable because what you're doing, what you're being is an asshole. You know, and, you know, it's like you're painting these people as not caring about these issues. And I'm like, I understand that you are in the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. But here's the thing about this Chiron and Aries, right? Aries energy is about identification. It's about the I am. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's an area where we can get really triggered and then we can really try and protect ourselves. And here's this interesting thing about this energy, right? Chiron energy is ruled by Virgo energy, right? And a totem animal of Virgo is Scorpio. I mean, Scorpio, the scorpion, ironically, right? Scorpion still rules Scorpio energy, but the scorpion has very big significance to Virgo energy as well. What does the scorpion do? It stings. So a lot of times what can happen is that when we get injured or if you feel threatened, we may sting other people. That's a part of the whole Chiron aspect. That's a part of the whole trauma aspect. But sometimes when we've been hurt, when we've been marginalized, when we've been misunderstood, we can lash out and hurt. It's actually a natural response. But there comes a point where we still have to be nuanced enough and hold ourselves accountable for, we can't just continually react and we can't just continually feel like a victim. This whole victim mentality and victim consciousness is only going to rise with Chiron and Aries because now people are going to be identifying with, I am conservative, I am liberal, I am trans, I am gay, I am bi, I am black, I am white, I am Christian, I am Buddhist, I am Hindu, I am whatever. And if you attack this, then I'm going to lash out. That's what the juvenile response would be. To lash out, to attack, to defend, to gnash, to sting. That's what the juvenile response is going to be. This is the thing that we're going to counter with Chiron going into Aries, because now this is taking that identification. And people these days are obsessed with labels. They're obsessed with identifying themselves. I want to get to the point where we don't have to identify ourselves as gay, straight, bi, trans, conservative, liberal, whatever religion we have, whatever. But with Chiron going into Aries, people are going to get more triggered over these labels. I'm not saying that what the middle son went through growing up, whatever like that. I'm not saying that he shouldn't feel the way that he should feel. I'm not saying that. He should feel, he has every right to feel what he feels. But the way that he was communicating to the father and to his older brother was just out of line. It was nasty. It was disgusting. And I had to call him out on his bullshit. Even if it really, I don't know these people. I'm not really related to them. But I had to call him out on it. And, you know, and I guess if you were to put me in a group, I lean a little bit more liberal, but honestly, I'm more in the center. I'm more in the center, if anything. But that's this whole Chiron and Aries, is that now these traumas and these wounds are going to come up from the way that we identify ourselves. And since Aries is a very early energy, so a lot of these things are going to come with like the things that really piqued our interest when we were children, you know, like that. You know, Aries is a very curious energy. It just goes for what it wants. Doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. It's like a kid is like, oh, I want this, mommy. Can I have this? No. Why can't I have it? Why can't I have it? Like that's that kind of. It's going to be that kind of an energy, right? You know. So. Anyways, let me catch up on the comments and stuff like that. Can we just nuke Chiron? No, Chiron is necessary. Chiron actually represents this this aspect of our humanness, where it's like Chiron was the centaur, right? And he was shot by his own teammates, and then he became mortal, right? Actually, what happened is that he was in such deep pain. So here's actually the thing about Chiron. Chiron took a hit for us. Chiron actually gave up his mortality because the pain was so unbearable. He rather had been reborn into the constellation and into the stars than to go on being immortal with that pain. So Chiron took a hit for us, honestly. Chiron took a huge hit for us. And it represents how over time and in life, how we can go through many deaths. We can die many times. We die many times over. But we are reborn, we are refreshed, we are renewed. Yeah, shit's been real. No more sugarcoating. Authentic self prevails unapologetically. True. The current political system is flawed as fuck. Ain't that the fact? Oh, I cannot wait for the political campaign of 2020. I'm glad you mentioned that spell thing. Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter is going to be so great because what's going to happen is that we thought Pluto and Saturn were savage because they're two of the malefics. Jupiter's about to come into Capricorn. And Jupiter rather be in Cancer, right? But Jupiter's about to come into Capricorn, and everyone's going to run to Jupiter and be like, "Oh, Jupiter, thank you. Santa, thank you. Oh, you're like the cool uncle. You're the cool uncle, Jupiter. Can you fix all this so this actually works out in my favor? Because these other people, they don't want to conform to my ideals. They don't want to conform to this corruption. But please, Jupiter, can you make it so you give me more fortune?" And Jupiter's going to be like, "Bitch, please." Jupiter's going to be like, "What? You thought that I was just going to come in here and just give you more of this corruption and bullshit, and you have been fucking up all of my other children? Who the fuck do you think you are? Nah, man, I'm siding with Saturn and Pluto. You thought that Mars was bad? You thought that Venus was pissed off? I'm pissed off. Jupiter's about to come into Capricorn. It's going to be pissed the fuck off. You got to understand, Jupiter is expansion. Pluto has already gone through these degrees. So Pluto is going to be bestowing gifts and fortune, don't get me wrong. But Pluto is also going to be expanding the destruction that Pluto has already gone through. It just has destroyed like a wrecking ball, all this Capricorn energy. And it's going to be expanding the new things that Saturn has been building, but also the challenges. Everyone's going to be, a lot of people are going to be running to Jupiter when it goes into Capricorn, being like, "Oh, yeah, I've screwed over these individuals, but it's okay. You're here now, so you can help me out." And you can be like, "Hey, this is why I did." Like, Jupiter is about to fucking like. Jupiter is about to like really fuck with people. It's going to fuck with people. It really is. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the Scorpio Aquarius thing. But low-key, they really love each other. They really do, though. I think Scorpio is super fascinated with Aquarius. And Aquarius is somehow super fascinated with Scorpio. It's an interesting square. Yeah. But yeah, guys, this is a very super powerful time. And like I said, with this Chiron going into Aries, people, if you thought people were triggered now, and if you thought there were labels now, there are going to be labels that arise over the next 8 to 10 years that you'd be like, what? Like, I guarantee you by the end of this 8 to 10 years, we're going to have like 10 genders. We'll have 10 genders. We'll probably have 10 different political parties. And it's just going to be like, yo, how much further can we separate ourselves? I can understand wanting to experience things and embracing our individuality, but there's a difference between embracing your individuality and separation that is backed and supported by this disdain to try and come to a consensus with other people. There's a difference. I can embrace my individuality and, and be who I am, but I don't have to force that and tell other people. I'm still going to embrace it and express it. I don't have to force it on other people and be like, you have to go by this mold. Because if you don't, I'm going to get uncomfortable. Now, I'm sorry to say, but that's your fucking issue. That's what the whole Mars retrograde from Aquarius to Capricorn energy was. That's your fucking issue, right? So with this Chiron now going into Aries, it's not going to be squaring all this Capricorn energy. It's going to be squaring this Chiron going to Aries. Of course, it's going to be squaring the nodes too. I mean, it's a huge orb, but it's going to be squaring Cancer and Capricorn. That's where the nodes are, you know? If you thought we were in Trigger City now, you haven't seen shit yet. We're about to go into Trigger City. And the people that make it through Trigger City, the people that make it through this trigger time are going to be the people that be like, you know what? You know what? Let me hold space for you to experience your I am. You know, I might not necessarily agree with all of it, but let me just hold space for you. And holding space can be as simple as putting up these boundaries and these barriers, you know, and not being mean and nasty, although this Aries energy is going to bring out that warrior quality. Some people are going to just like really find the warrior in them. They're going to be fighting for their cause. They're going to be fighting for their cause. Yeah. Myself included. But how are you going to fight for your cause? Are you going to be nasty, mean, try and tell everyone to adjust the way that you think, feel, believe? And here's the thing. Me and my partner were talking about this, and she mentioned this. So I think she was talking about this with some other people, maybe her coworkers. But she made a very good point that we are in times where everything is changing so rapidly. There's a new term, there's always a new thing, there's always a new way to be, there's always something new. And it's like our generation, when I say our generation, I'm talking about the millennials, so anyone who's between the ages of 22 and like 36 or so, we're a little bit more accustomed, not necessarily to the changes themselves, but the pace of the change. So we're a little bit more malleable when it comes to, okay, so now it's not just gay and bi, but we have pansexual, we have trans, we have all these other things. Okay, so it's not just, you know, Democrat and Republican, we have, you know, the Green Party, we have this party, we have that party. Okay, so it's not just this and that. We have New Age spirituality, we have this belief, we have that belief. So even if we don't necessarily get the change itself, we're able to adjust more to it. But the older generations aren't able to adjust as much to it. They're a little bit more set in their ways. And that's the thing that we have to remind ourselves, as especially the millennials and like younger, we have to remind ourselves that while things are changing so fast, it's like today it was okay to be like, let me just give you an example, all right? So like say someone, and this is going to be a very arbitrary kind of metaphorical example. All right, so say like you have a group of beings that are able to affect the color of their skin on their day-to-day basis, right? The way that they appear. And the established ways of being was always red and blue, right? So I'm using politics. So you have red-skinned people and blue-skinned people, right? Now we have, and then there was green-skinned people began to come into the picture about 20 or so years ago. And we're like, okay, all right, this is some change, whatever like that. And the older generation took them a little bit more time, but they got into it. So they kind of adopted as a awkward middle ground that won't really be embraced as accepted as much. But now, in a short amount of time, we don't have just red, green, and blue skinned people. We have purple, pink, white, gold, turquoise, orange, every fucking color. And now, based off of the color of your skin, I'm just using this as a random metaphor. You act in a certain way, you have certain beliefs, whatever like that. Apparently, you adopt a certain way of being. And now it's like the red skin and the blue skin people are having to like, oh crap, there are so many colors now. I gotta adjust to this. Whereas like anybody who is a little bit younger is able to adjust to the quick changes. They're like, oh, there's fuchsia colored people now. Okay, cool. Oh wait, there's cinnabar colored people now. Okay. Oh wait, there's coral colored people now. Okay. We're able to adjust to just the pace of the change, Not necessarily the change itself, but the pace of the change. This is what makes millennials a little bit more open. Anybody between the ages of 22 and 36, right? But the older generations, they're not as able to adjust to the pace as much. This Chiron and Aries is going to test everyone's ability to adjust to the pace of this change. You know, that's another thing about this. A female streamer was permanently banned from Twitch for claiming there's only 2 biological genders, which is true. It's starting to become censorship. Yeah, it's called gender fluid. You can be gender fluid now. You can be like, you can identify as male one day and identify as female. Now, gender fluidity is not new because in the animal kingdom, it happens. But it happens under certain circumstances, not because you feel like you have to be a certain way. It happens because, all right, take clownfish, for example. Take clownfish. If you have a group of clownfish, a male can turn into a female because there's not enough males. They can just start being able to produce eggs. It's an adaptation, but it's a necessary adaptation because the circumstances in the environment support it, which I guess technically is true with human society, but for us, it's more of a. It's not like it's not a life or death sentence. It's not a like, oh, the future generations aren't going to come into being if we don't have another male or not have another female. Yeah, I mean, you have gender fluidity in the world, mostly in the animal kingdom, but it's because of a survival aspect. For us, it's more of like I guess a kind of survival aspect, but it's not like a physically survival aspect. It's more of like oh, I just want to identify as this today. I would love to get to the point where it will be actually okay for and some people might think it's controversial, but a boy is like, oh, I want to play with Barbies and wear a dress. That doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be a girl. Maybe they just like that stuff. Now, some of them may actually want to, whatever. I still have reservations. I mean, I support people who are trans. I have a good online friend who is trans. He actually recently just had kids too. It was awesome. They're beautiful, beautiful twins, and he's into astrology and all that sort of stuff like that too. And I really support him and stuff. I really do. But I still have my own personal reservations towards, especially converting your kids at such an early age. I don't think we should do that. I think especially kids that convert under the age of 10. I feel like it's really a lot of it is the parents' agenda. Personally, now kids are closer to God, arguably. Actually, they are. Kids are closer to God and stuff like that. But I still have my reservations when it comes to that sort of stuff. That doesn't mean I don't support the community. It just means that you haven't even gone through your Jupiter return when you make that sort of change. You haven't gone through your Jupiter return. It's like the first transcendental planet outside of the personal planets. You haven't even Jupiter returns every 12 to 13 years. You have to at least go through that return, I feel like, before you make a change like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, gender fluid. It's crazy. Why, do you need multiple IDs? All of these changes are a little crazy. Like I stated the other night, I feel like new labels are going to keep coming until we all become more accepting of people just being who they want to be. Lauren Burbs, you hit it right on the nail. We're going to come out with so many fucking labels to where it's exhausting trying to keep up with them. And we're going to be like, why don't we just embrace people for who they are and fuck the labels, man? But Chiron and Aries, this whole I am thing, the whole I am consciousness and stuff, we are going to become more obsessed with labels over the next 8 to 10 years. It ain't going away anytime soon. It's kind of come out with Chiron and Pisces, but with Chiron and Aries, people are really going to start to wear their trauma on their sleeve. And I'm not saying to not feel what you feel. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if we think that people are triggered now, oh my God, people are going to be triggered really a lot over the next 8 to 10 years. And look where Uranus is in. Uranus is in Taurus. So it's not like there's not going to be innovations and changes made to accommodate these people because they feel a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-value, or they feel like just because here's a whole weird thing. And I might get a lot of flack for this. I might get a lot of fucking flack for this. Growing up, I was called an Oreo, right? You know, black on the outside, white on the inside. And it kind of has this sort of Uncle Tom energy to it. And it's like, I get along with everybody. My fiance is white, so I guess white, whatever like that. I mean, yeah, but I don't identify with that bullshit, man. Now, I won't say that black people haven't been marginalized and stuff like that, because obviously we have, but, like, I just don't want to identify with the marginalization. I don't want to identify with it, because that's a very small part of who I am. That's a very small part of who I am. Especially with the North Node in Cancer, which is dealing with ancestors and inheritances, which is also goes back to James and his family. A lot of this stuff is actually being healed right now. A lot of it's being healed right now. So it's like, I just don't really find myself identifying with it. And consequently, I don't have many black friends. I don't even really listen to rap and R&B that much. I listen to rap and R&B. But a great bit of the music I listen to is actually electronic. I'm not this stereotypical black person. If that's even a thing now, I've been discovering more and more all the black nerds that are out there. You know? How we all love anime and shit. But it's like, there's going to be this marginalization culture that's going to erupt with Chiron and Aries. Because Chiron is like says about these wounds. And when the Aries about I am. So now you're going to see all these different groups that have been marginalized and hurt, and they have been, but they're going to, instead of embracing who they are and allowing that to heal them, they're going to be demanding that everybody conforms to what they believe in. And you can't fucking do that. I'm sorry. But you cannot believe in what someone else is believing and still get along with them. Oh my gosh, that's actually possible? Yeah. It's actually possible to not believe in what someone else believes in and actually get along with them. What a foreign concept for humanity. Oh my goodness. You know? I'm going on a trigger tour around the interwebs. That's a great comment, because sometimes, especially in this age, you just need to get triggered. Sometimes you're like, you know what? Sometimes you wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go around the internet and start looking for arguments. I'm going to start looking for bullshit and things to get triggered about. It's kind of like this weird thing where it's like, it's kind of good almost to like get into these internet arguments every now and again. I don't do it that much anymore. Like I used to be, oh gosh, like in my early journey, oh my gosh, I loved getting in internet arguments. I was that social media warrior. I was talking about conspiracies and all that stuff like that. I was like, ah. Now I don't focus on it as much. Still talk about it, still think about it, but I don't talk about it as much. I focus more on the healing. I focus more on the positivity. I focus more on the uplifting vibes. But sometimes you just need to get triggered, right? Sometimes you just need to go on the internet and be like, oh, what are you looking at? What do you believe? Really? Oh, nah, fuck you. Fuck you. Anyways, me and my friend was considering creating an anti-marketing company and just expose all the different bullshit businesses and methods the corporations are using. Yo, that's so amazing. An anti-marketing company. That would be awesome. Whenever I need to be triggered, I just look at the news. They're always talking about Trump and being in the South. Already get triggered, right? Everyone's getting triggered, man. Everyone's getting triggered. I was like, everyone's getting triggered. Oh my gosh. But yeah, very powerful week. Chiron shifted. Venus actually conjuncted Saturn this week, so that was really big. You know, this is going to be a time where really it's just like everything's up in the air. And trying to control everything right now is just not going to work. But this full moon in Virgo is going to give us some element of control, but it's going to be still kind of it's going to be a bit of a blank canvas. We're not going to have any outlines. We're not going to have a picture to color in. We're going to get given a blank canvas. So the control is really the liberation and freedom to create whatever we want to create. Now we can either paint inside of the lines that society's given us. So it's like, oh, you want to paint inside, or you want to color inside these lines of this particular dogma? Go ahead and do that. You know, and everyone will probably do that to some degree, but it depends upon the degree that you want to do it to. So it's going to be like, you know, if you're liberal, conservative, or whatever you identify with, you're going to be given a blank canvas, but you may have like a stencil that you trace onto it, and that stencil can represent that dogma, and then you can color it in. That doesn't really allow for creativity and expansion and innovation and movement. I don't think it does, personally. You know what I mean? So it's like, are you going to like take that stencil and draw it onto the canvas and then paint inside those lines when you're being given a blank canvas to create anything that you want? Or are you going to utilize this opportunity to create whatever the hell you want to? That doesn't mean that you can't have references, but I wouldn't necessarily try and trace anything out. You know what I mean? I have references for stuff. Like, here's a perfect example, actually. Here's a perfect example. This is Luxray. It's the Pokemon Luxray that I painted. And I didn't trace this. I looked at a picture of Luxray, and I just kind of went off of it. I didn't trace it or anything like that. So if you want to have like a reference, there's nothing wrong with having a reference. I even have a border. Look at this. It's not a very not divine, but distinct border or defined border. Could be a divine border, but I even have a border. But this is like, it's like a reference. You know what I mean? So it's like some people, what they're going to do is like, you know how you have like those stencils? They're literally going to put it on a blank canvas, trace the stencil, and then they're going to color inside the lines. You don't want to do that. Maybe have a reference. And everyone's going to have some sort of reference, but be free with it. Flow. Do you. You know? Let's see. Oh, let's see what we got going on here. Trump is destined to be in office. His astrology really supports it. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Trump. I think he's actually one of the greatest presidents we have ever had. But a lot of times when people hear the greatest, they think that it has to be that they usually have this perception of positive. I'm not even going to say that Trump is totally negative. He's just revealing a lot of the he's revealing the dissent in this country. It's beautiful. Because we need it to be revealed, we need it to be brought to the surface, we need it to be exposed so we can actually deal with it instead of pushing it under. But Trump is revealing all of the business. He's revealing all of the divisiveness that has culminated in this country, the USA, and even the world too. But he's revealing all of this divisiveness that has evolved up to this point, so we can finally address it and actually really begin to transmute it. And for that reason, he's one of the greatest presidents we've ever had. I will say that. I'm gonna just need for him to stop using so many adjectives, makes his life. And you need to have, he always does this too. You know how he always does this? And it's like, all right, we're going to build the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Oh, wait, they're not going to pay for it. All right, I'm going to do this national emergency thing where now we're going to suddenly come up with money for this wall. Your money. We're going to come up with money for this wall. And even though, don't even like, this whole wall thing and drugs and all this bullshit, you got to think, oh my gosh, like you got to think, this full moon in Virgo at 0 degrees, Scorpio, you got to think a 0. It actually is a bit of a wall. It has a closed-in surface. So it's boundaries, right? We're trying to create a boundary so these drugs, which drugs are ruled by Pisces. Yeah, this is astrology. They say Hollywood is so corrupt that now the world is becoming a reality show. It's sort of ironic divine payback. That's fucking true. It's actually kind of funny because reality TV is actually kind of like cathartic in a way. It's weird. I used to hate reality TV, but that's becoming kind of cathartic, depending upon what you're watching. We've been watching, my fiance been watching, and I've been watching with her, MasterChef Junior. And oh my gosh, MasterChef Junior. All right, actually, that is your homework. That is your homework. Watch MasterChef Junior. Watch MasterChef Junior. That is your homework. Why? Because this is like these kids. They're in a competition, but they still embrace each other. You know, yeah, they have their issues, but they still embrace each other and they still help each other. They're like, even if someone messes up, it's not like adults where they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad that she's not. Oh my God, he was so toxic." Oh gosh, toxic has become toxic. It's crazy because I'm a Scorpio, so my sign is ruled by poison, and I'm like, stop using the word toxic. Stop using it. You don't know what you're saying. Toxic has become such a toxic word, and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. But anyways, your homework is to watch MasterChef Junior and watch and then like just examine and observe the camaraderie between these kids who are in this competition. Just observe the camaraderie of it, and I'm like, just how beautiful is it? Plus, you also get to see Gordon Ramsay, and Gordon Ramsay's cool. But yeah, The Bachelor's kind of funny. The Bachelor is just like, it's frustrating to watch. It's cathartic, but it's frustrating as shit. But then I'm like, damn, life is kind of becoming like that. Look at Tinder. That's pretty much what Tinder is. It's pretty much The Bachelor, just like on the low key level. My guilty obsession is now parkour maps and Fortnite on YouTube. Love seeing gamers rage. Dude, you want to talk about some gamer stuff? I just had a memory back from when me and my friend were playing Halo back in the day. I was playing Halo at his house, and we were doing like this like Team Slayer match. No, Slayer. And there was this kid that was like riding on a warthog and was just like beep, like because you can hear him through like the TV, and he was just like hitting the horn on the warthogs, like beep 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 beep, like he was just being annoying. And we were doing a snipers match, and I literally, this is my own teammate, right? I was like, oh my gosh, this little kid is so annoying. Mind you, I'm in high school at the time. This kid was probably like in middle school or elementary school. So I literally just went over and I shot him in the head, and then me and my friend got booted from the party. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of sad. I like watching gamers rage. If you want to watch some funny gamers rage, watch Markiplier's videos on Getting Over It. He was playing Getting Over It, which is the game created by Bennett Foddy. And the rage in those videos, oh my gosh. I laughed so hard. I felt bad because I was laughing at his pain. I'm pretty sure I would feel the same way. And I've raged that game. I've raged. Oh my gosh. But that was so funny. It was so funny. Interesting thing about parkour, I've been wanting to get into that, but I gotta get in shape first. Anyways, yeah, these were the Monday Night Musings. I never actually showed you guys the charts. I'm gonna show you guys tomorrow though, because I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say that for the full moon of Virgo. But what I am going to do is I'm going to share with you all my poem that I wrote. I'm going to share with you all the poem that I wrote, and then I'm actually going to go play video games. All right. But for the full moon in Virgo, I'm probably going to do something either live tomorrow or I'll do like a recording, and I want to draw cards for each of the signs. But this is the poem that I wrote this morning. And the first oracle card was about abundance. The second oracle card was about unknown territory. So this is the poem that I wrote. I even used some of the words on the cards. Abundance is pouring into your life from a space where vulnerability takes up permanent residence. And oh my, is that a scary place? The streets are doused in fog. The houses are unassuming, bright and cheery, until you reach the house at the end of the cul-de-sac. And there it is. The house of courage. The proverbial dark music plays upon approach. Suddenly a storm kicks up. You look back to your once happy-go-lucky disposition and notice the bipolarness of the weather. Like, seriously, what is going on here? As you step onto the platform, the deck creaks and cries under the weight of your heavy steps. A chill accompanies the lurking invisible hand of your guardian. All of this, which you may confuse to be your enemy, who is really your inner me. They took out the R, by the way. The R that you are simply walking into unknown territory. And nothing can be more fantastically frightening than you being exactly where you need to be. So that was the poem. And that's kind of actually how I feel. We are walking into unknown territory, and it is fantastically frightening. Because it's like we are exactly where we need to be, and that can be scary. And sometimes, you know, we encounter that house at the end of the cul-de-sac that suddenly, like, you know, like in the movies and the cartoons, where it's like every house on the it's like sunny and blue skies, but then when you get to this house, it's something like stormy. There's lightning, there's bats and stuff like that flying all over the place, and it's like, oh, that's where old man or old woman, whatever, lives. You know, oh, I think that. Oh, I heard a rumor that he, when children kick the ball through their house, when children hit a baseball through his window, and he invites them in, he cuts them up and, like, you know, harvests their bloods and organs. Or they're like, oh yeah, that's old lady whoever, and I heard that whenever people, you know, get her on her lawn, she invites them in for popsicles, but the popsicles are actually made from the blood of her enemies, or they're made from the blood of children that she's already killed. Yeah, but she's sadistic in the fact that she actually makes the kids eat the popsicles first, and then she kills them. Yeah, that's how she always has an unlimited amount of popsicles. Because kids keep kicking balls into her yard, soccer balls, footballs, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's that kind of house that we're walking into right now, and we can be creating all these perceptions on what that house entails. A lot of it's fear tactics from people that we feel like are our enemies, but it's really our inner me that's trying to come out. And a lot of times we can make it seem, and we can create this image in our head that this is a place that we don't want to go to. But really, it's just unknown territory. And what happens when we encounter unknown territory? We have either two options. We can either really, and the first option is what our more primal and more natural instinct would be to do, is to react in a way where we're hostile, where we're standoffish. But what we're learning is how to not be as standoffish, but to be more embracing of the situation. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to go into situations where you may feel like you actually are going into a haunted house. You still want to have discernment. You still want to honor your soul and your spirit. But a lot of the nightmares that we create for ourselves are self-induced. And this is going to be a moment right now where everyone's walking into unknown territory, and it can be scary as fuck. But if we react in a way to where we don't embrace the fact that we need to go through this experience, embrace the fact that we are exactly where we need to be, then we can actually short ourselves of the abundance that is there. We can short ourselves of the treasure that is there, the beauty that is there. You know, we can make it seem like, oh, we're being attacked. Maybe we're actually being given something. Maybe we're actually being given a gift. Maybe we're actually being given a miracle. A lot of times people confuse miracles for attacks. It's not true. How did you find out about my mom's popsicles? That's funny. Does the guy on YouTube sounds like Pisces? He does voice impressions in the games. Oh, I would love to do that. But anyways, that is it for this video. These are the Monday Night Musings. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you got some type of value out of this. I know it kind of bounced all over the place, but that's kind of the point of it too. Kind of just be loose, but also kind of just let you all know of the transits that we're going through, the energies that we're going through, and also encourage you to be your best self, to come into your higher self. And even if you have moments where you feel like you may relapse, it's okay. We're all human. We're all infinite beings. We're allowed to experience the entirety spectrum of this experience and what we're here to do. But, you know, of course, be nuanced. Be honest with yourself. Move forward. Have fun with this experience. And know that I have so much love for you. I have so much love for you. I'm radiating love in your direction. And I believe in you. I believe in you, beloved. I believe in your gifts. I believe in your talents. I believe in the miracle that is you. Because life is a miracle, and we should treat it as such. So thank you all so much for joining me on this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Another announcement. So the webinar that I had for the personal planets is actually being moved back a month. Moving it back a month. So this was a paid webinar. I think I might actually decrease the price of it because right now it's $11.11. I might decrease the price of it too, just because I want to get the information to as many people as possible. I want to get it out to as many people as possible. So if you want to become a part of this webinar, what you have to do is you have to go to my website, purchase the webinar from my store, and then I will send you a link to the private YouTube video that I will go live on. So that was originally going to be scheduled for tomorrow. I'm pushing it back a month. And then of course, you know, after that, I'm going to do it then, and I'll push it back. So, but I want to make sure that people have this information. And if no one shows up to the webinar, I probably will end up making it a public video at some point because I feel like people need to have the information anyways. But I'm gonna put a lot of value into this. So that's why I feel confident charging for this. Even if I might decrease how much I'm charging for it, I still feel confident in charging for this because I'm gonna give a lot of information, a lot of value, and I'm just gonna stay on my ground when that comes to that. But I'm gonna push the date back. So the date for that's going to be March. I think I put it to March 19th, actually. So, but anyways, I hope you all enjoy this. I hope you all got some type of value out of this. I love you all so much. Utilize these energies to the best of your ability. This is Pisces season. Everything's up in the air, but everything's magical. Use your imagination. Know that you are beautiful, divine, creative. What is it? Know that you are able, beautiful, creative, divine, and also energetic. That's what it is, the A, B, C, D, E. And yeah, you are very much so cared for. You really are. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm probably gonna play some video games and finish off this bottle of rum, which I don't have that much left, but anyways, I'm also getting kind of hungry. Anyways, I'm rambling. Create a free trailer with a slick cliffhanger. Oh, that's a good idea, Spellsing. I appreciate that. I will create a very sick, awesome cliffhanger trailer. Be like, yeah, this is the webinar. You guys want to go ahead and purchase it so we can we're going to be lit. We're going to be fire in here. It's going to be fun. But anyways, I'll probably put a link to that in the description below with the adjusted price. I'm not sure what I'm going to put it at just yet. It was $11.11. I'm going to probably bring it down, though. I'm definitely going to bring it down. I just want to make sure I reach as many people as possible with it because it's important information. But once again, I love you all so much. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I'm going to be putting out a video tomorrow for the Virgo full moon because the apex is around. Oh, that's my cat moving my tripod. It's going to be occurring around like around 10 or so Eastern Standard Time. Leo the cat. It's the cat. Easily. He doesn't like being picked up. But I do it anyways. And he knows he's going to get treats afterwards, so it's not that big of a deal. I will. Thank you, Spellsync. I definitely will give her free access. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.